one actually, so, we don't have, God bless our Jim Green. He was an amazing leader, and we can't say enough. The last time he was sitting right there, he had a wonderful joke for us, and he wasn't feeling great. And he knew that, but his priority was to make all of us feel comfortable in the meeting. The show went on, and we didn't see this coming. We did, but we didn't, So great man, great leader, and will be greatly missed.
He missed our first expo because he was in the hospital, and we've had
Yes.
3 expos. So it was, he kept on
Yeah,
plugging.
every time, it just seemed like and then he bounced back, and and Linda, incredible, who's in charge of our historical society, his wife. So Dan, as our town council member, Dan, he was our chairman. I don't know that we ever picked a assistant chair for the group, and Jim had been our chair for a few years now. So
I'm pretty sure it was you.
What?
I'm
Oh,
pretty
you don't. Can't believe it's back. Yeah. And normally there's about 8 or 9 of us here, depending.
We usually have a representative from the police, the fire.
Patrick
Um,
I haven't heard, and Phil will often come. And Patrick is he was our liaison, now he's come back. But this is like an unknown territory for us, so I don't know which direction we want to head in. Our biggest event, I guess we can just fill Dan in a little bit. Ilona, is our senior resource, our director of our senior center, so she has a lot of the information. Our biggest accomplishment has been the Senior Expo, and this will be our 3rd year coming up. Fourth year, right, 4th year. And it's grown each year. It's been incredible. It was really an idea sitting right here that Kim Bernard had on a whim. Like, we're all talking about ideas and all, and he was our liaison at that point. He's like, we're trying to come up with something new, and he just said, I know, I've heard of other towns that do a senior expo. Why don't we do a senior expo? And then, many people had been to different ones, and then somehow it came to be, and it's incredible. I mean, we all love it. It's in the fall. Do we set our date up?
We have 2 potential dates that we were given by, I don't think it was Patrick, he wasn't back yet. It's either September.
20-something, right?
The first year we did it at the high school, around the gym, around the perimeter, and we had like 30 people, so it felt really small, like it was too big.
Too big.
And then the second year we did the middle school just in the cafeteria, and we had about 55 vendors, and that was too small in the cafeteria. So the third year we had the cafeteria, but we didn't take it. We went down the hallways into the gym, and we had close to 70 vendors. So every year it's gotten bigger. And that was tight, starting to feel tight too. So we're trying to decide, I don't know which location we're gonna use this year, if we're gonna go back to the middle school or the high school gym. But we have to coordinate with the schools based on their sports too.
Yeah.
Because the first year, it was tough for the seniors to park because there was something going on in the fields behind. So that main high school gym parking lot was pretty stuffed.
I wrote down September 13th or the 27th from
Yeah, it
the
was-
last meeting, I just checked.
Yeah, it was I have that.
Yeah.
So I don't know which day's better or which school even decided.
I
on
liked
yet.
where it was last year. It was
I did too.
hard.
It was good because people
Yeah.
came in and then.
It was right off the
like,
main road too.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, it was a good location.
Except every 2 years in a row it rained. So we're trying to we had pickleball outside once 2 years
As a
ago.
demonstration.
A
that
demo, and it was they were still playing, they were
was-
hitting away.
And it was Tim Donahue, who was our officer that
Right.
always supported us too. He was here with us for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
How's the turnout?
a shocking, Dan. I'd say
We
we're
think
doing
we
great,
think
yeah.
around 400
Yeah.
or more.
Wow.
Yeah, and we had
Um,
bags donated. Phil was able to get bags donated, so each year we put the Senior Expo logo. But it's incredible, and it's not just for Londonderry. People from other towns
Yeah.
come, and children of people that are getting older come. It's really surprising, wouldn't you say, John?
Oh, yeah.
We also do door prizes.
I was
Yeah.
really
We do
surprised
raffles.
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
having it, at the beginning I was concerned about doing it every year, but every year, I think people have come back 2 or 3 times, but there's always some new people there, so it seems to build. And it is, I think, for a lot of ways, it is enjoyable for people to go. I think they enjoy it, it's got a serious tone to it, but it's an outing
It
almost.
really, and lots of little Getchke kinds of things that all the vendors bring something, And there's even usually a woman that does like, just safety, personal safety, and she'll sell some gadgets, like if you wanted pepper spray or, you know, so, personal but it's very interesting, and lots of brochures and, home helpers information, so, yeah.
We have
it's-
medical, we try to make it more,
We don't have a
not
commercial.
salespeople. Yeah, we try not to do a lot of
Right,
salespeople.
Right, that's about the only one that's really was, and it was more for safety.
And I would
Yeah.
think those vendors that come, they probably put it on their calendar now, like, oh, like for September,
point,
we'll-
right.
you know, Londonderry, we usually send somebody on behalf of our company.
Because they felt very
You know?
successful, like the vendors all loved it. You know, they were excited to be here, and often, do we have all of them again? We started off having all of them bring a raffle basket, so we could raffle things off.
Yeah.
And did we, I think we still asked everyone last time,
We
didn't
did
we?
last year, and it was so late in the day, I
It's so
took them all back to the senior center, put them in my office, it was like 30 baskets. And I had a box, and I just pulled names, and I started calling people. Because it's so hard to do it after the event, you know, you spend time setting it up, then during the event, it's exhausting, you don't wanna just, you know, it's just a lot. And before that, I think Deb bought them all
Deb
back here,
DeRoche's
the
brought
year
them,
before.
and to her house, so her and her husband were delivering them on a Sunday.
And I still have one that hasn't been picked up. One.
Did I hear a suggestion at one of the previous meetings that maybe we're thinking of having the vendors hold them and they do the raffle
Yes.
themselves?
Individually,
Yeah,
yes,
so-
cause
Yeah.
it's
I know that would be easier for everybody involved,
for follow-up,
right?
yes.
But it's also fun for the guests to see them all piled up there when they walk in.
It is, I know, and then they
Sorta.
don't have to worry about if I put my name in, I'm not gonna get like 100 emails from a person, you know, from a certain vendor, but I know they did.
Yeah, we never I actually just
Yeah.
threw that box away with all their
Did
names
you?
in it, yeah, it was under my desk.
Cause it is
Yeah.
kinda nice, they're all lined up, but we got so many of them, Dan, like it was 2 tables full. But I mean, people went all out, I mean, all of the nonprofits, beautiful baskets that we had.
Yeah, if you look at the Londonderry Senior Center Facebook page, go back, you know, you can look at that anytime. I put all those events, all the results of the announcements and then the results with pictures. And that Facebook page is managed by, it was originally developed by Sarah Landry, who was like three directors ago. She's now moved on to different locations. And she wrote to me at the end of last year, I'm trying to remember how long it's been, that she had some sort of breach in her Facebook, so she had to take that page down, Friends of Londonderry Senior Center. I can still access it and look at the pictures, but it's no longer functioning. So we had Cheerston put together a new Facebook page, which is now owned by the town. She manages it, but I'm an administrator. Because when I win the lottery or I retire, you know, I don't own the page, the town owns the page. So it's kind of nice to have it in the hands of the town now. And it's basically the same format, because I do it all the time, but it's just a different name, and we don't have as many, we had, I think, over 300 followers on hers, and now we're up to like 250. It's taken a while. But people still are on it.
You know, at our, we had, the last meeting we had was unofficial, I don't think, we didn't have a quorum, right? The last meeting.
No. We
no?
just made it.
Just
But-
made it, I think, we just didn't have any
Yeah.
decisions to
But-
be made.
The one thing that we were talking about was doing something to try to honor Bonnie,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And there was, somebody made a suggestion that perhaps we could name the street, rename the
I
street.
inquired that a little bit
Yeah,
into
so
that.
did I, that's kinda,
It's
What?
if it's a street, you need to, all those people need to change their addresses on that street.
yeah.
To the
I-
right,
You could
it's
do
a
a
lot.
way, you
But
could do a way, W-A-Y, because over at the high school, it's Lincoln Way.
Yeah,
After
Something else
Bob
to look
Lincoln.
into, Elizabeth,
But
yeah.
where would that way be? It can't, there's no street around the senior center that's not named already,
yeah.
cause we're just we're on a corner and it's,
There's a second way to do this, I think, which may serve the purpose, but maybe not. I went up there, up to your street, and looked at where everything was on the street and so on, and basically there's already signs on the south end and the north end, basically saying, there's 2 signs that basically are different, but they say the senior center
In
is this way.
blue and white, yeah.
This way, and then that's the one at the lower, and then at the other end, there's a smaller sign this says senior center, I think it's got an arrow on it too.
We're a little lost.
Little small sign. But what I was thinking was that we could replace those signs with one that said, you know, Bonnie R. Way, and then and then had the senior center directions on that. That way we could, and, you know, it doesn't have to be the official name of
Right,
the street,
just
but
a
we can
nice-
name it that on both ends, and that would come close, because also, I don't know, it's not just changing the address. People may not want to have that. I think you'd have to
That's a
ask
good point,
everybody
too,
if they
yeah.
would agree to it, to change the sign. Now, there's no, there's, the post office and the state of New Hampshire, because that's a state highway technically, they don't care. Well, you can call anything you want as long as you let us know. So it's a, be all up to the town, but we'd have to, I think, ask everybody if they would agree to it. And that gets complicated, you know, you don't wanna,
And
right?
it would be
Do
a
you
problem
know
for the
about,
fire
Bonnie
department.
Rizzo, what she's
You
done?
would know her, Tim,
Yeah.
through the years.
She's been
very
working with the
well.
senior center for 17 years, even though she moved to Derry a few years ago.
Right.
She was the president of our nonprofit, which now dissolved. And they spent over $30K on us at the senior center, new floors, things, you know, permanent fixturing that we needed, just to spend down that money, and they donated the rest to community caregivers. And as a result of that dispersing, I'm now taking over membership. And there's 600 members, now there's like 500, because
Oh,
people didn't
right.
revamp. And I'm noticing how much she did, because people ask me, are you gonna do this, are you gonna do that, which they did as well.
Yep.
I took over bingo, which is something that her group handled. Had to check with the gaming commission to make sure it was legal. Big money, like $15 pots. And they have a ice cream social, which I'd like to integrate into the, it's usually the second day of Old Home Day. I'd like to integrate that somehow into Old Home Day, as an Old Home Day event. And she also did a craft fair in the fall with a lot of prizes. And I can't do that because I'm not a nonprofit. I can't collect money for people to do, I don't know a way to do that. It's a big event, but it's, I don't know that I could orchestrate it. And there's a lot of craft fairs that time of year too, everywhere. So I don't think people would miss a craft fair, they might just miss coming to the senior center for it.
No wonder.
So we're
But
still
St.
trying-
Jude's has theirs at the
Same time, usually often the same day.
Last year was the
right?
first time they didn't
Yeah.
do it the same
Same
day.
Oh, really?
yeah.
But it's been the same day for
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah.
So we're trying to integrate what they did and what I can logically take over too. Just as we're trying to do now with Jim's absence,
Right.
to try to integrate what we do, you know, as a committee, and just make sure we move forward.
You don't have to make a decision about that, but I don't want that to
Yeah.
fall off the
No,
edge. We
no.
could do something like
What
that.
What about
Yeah.
like a memorial garden or something?
Like the high school has.
And put like a plaque in the garden in honor of her
Oh, is
near
that
the
possible
senior
at the
center? Do
senior
you have like an
center?
area that we could maybe raise funds for to make some extra green space?
I've actually wanted to put a garden in, but it's a lot of labor.
Yeah.
And I usually in the summertime when the people call and say, I have kids who wanna volunteer, I have them come and pull weeds.
You know,
And, because the Shady Hill, they just do the grass, they don't do
Yeah.
the rock beds that we have.
Well, then if we
That's-
could
I like that.
fundraise, maybe we could fundraise in honor, I apologize, I didn't know her, but it sounds like she was amazing.
Well, she's still around.
Oh, okay.
She hasn't
She
passed.
just has- she hasn't
Okay, well.
She was there today.
Sorry, but we could raise funds or something in honor of, and then, you know,
Because there are some
dedicate
other
them.
people
with
too,
a
like
nice big
Gladys,
plaque
you
or
know,
something, I
like
don't know.
maybe, that's a nice idea.
You could have a lot
both
of,
ends where those signs are, it's just a rat's nest down, you know, both ends really. Maybe we could talk the committee we have in town, that I think their main purpose is to maintain, you know, the beautified Londonderry, whatever.
Yeah.
They think they do the signs, I'm not certain, but I think they do the, you know, it's 3 or 4 signs.
The signs got
We could check with
covered.
Yeah,
Dave
maybe we
Or
Warren.
could talk
donation,
them into,
right?
doing something
Somebody
at that
just make
intersection and the other end, and then we put up a sign.
We're not calling it
with
a memorial because she's still
Right.
alive. Maybe
Yeah.
a gratitude
Oh,
sign,
yeah.
or we'll find a better phrase for it.
Because don't you have room like in the back?
That's
You
what I
could-
was
that you could
thinking.
do,
A little bit, where I wanted
Doesn't have
to,
to be too
I wanted to put a
either.
pergola, but my $10,000 pergola turned into like $60,000 because of the grading and the legalities and the ramp and all kinds of stuff like that.
Even if you had just a little area, like you could have a little bench.
Bench and some stones, it
And
doesn't
some
even have to be a lot of
stone.
bushes.
And then you
even.
could actually, in the bench, you could engrave people's names if you wanted to.
You
Yeah.
can make them buy
Add to it.
stones.
Yeah.
Well, who's selling stones? I've seen that on Facebook.
Yeah,
Isn't Katie Sullivan collecting for some sort of bricks?
She's doing, oh no, that's the American Legion, and they're doing for their new gazebo area, you could buy bricks like donated to your
Yep.
family
Yeah.
or, yeah, they just ended that fundraiser, now they're gonna start building, so, but that is a great idea too. I don't, we could easily get the information from Stu and them, right?
The thing is, how do you, I know this is being recorded, it's just, I don't know how she'd react to it. We honored her at the Christmas party and I gave her a huge book full of memories and
humble,
pictures and
yeah.
stuff. And took pictures of it and she cried. And I almost feel like, since she's still with us, is it too much? That's how I feel. But at the same time,
You know better than I do.
Gladys
Yeah,
Fredericks, who was
true.
several electors ago, has a room named after her in the senior center, and she's still with us. So I
That's
just,
what I
It
was-
could be
yeah.
something like the Garden of
I-
Honor, and
I
then you could just,
actually-
like you said, keep adding names
I
as
actually like
great
that. I like that.
people
yeah.
do stuff.
Would make a difference,
Like this
yeah.
man who's missing here, the Garden of Honor, I mean, just thinking out loud, we
Yeah,
can get
that's
better at the
true.
name.
well, I do a volunteer
Right.
volunteer luncheon every summer, and we do our top volunteers who've done 25 or more hours. And there's at least 30 or more that come to that luncheon, and some are in the hundreds of hours.
Mhm.
We could include the top 5, something like that.
Yeah, so it would be an ongoing sort of,
Yeah, that
And if
area
you
right
wanted to
behind.
her name could be
If
on the
you want-
top, like, because she's the reason that we thought of it, and then you can just switch out, like, employee of the month, sorry.
Yeah, but you're- yeah.
Honorary
Yeah.
member of the year, or what, just build on it, right? It's a good idea.
Even a patio, if you did a patio somewhere
A patio would be nice.
with bricks, and then you could, you know, you could
I have
have
to
the
talk
bricks there.
to Wally about the engineering of that.
Because then you wouldn't
Yeah,
have to
Dave
maintain the
Wally.
garden, because
Right.
that's what you want to avoid, is having to maintain all the
That,
plants.
that
And you
area
can continue
directly
adding to
behind
it.
here is
Yes,
kind of
yeah,
a
patio would
mishmash
be
of
nice.
levels and so on.
With the
Back,
bench,
you know,
I like the
right
bench
directly
area.
behind, there's,
Yeah.
it's what, about 10 or 15, 20 feet there. But there are different levels and so on, so on, it's a little
No,
bit this,
it's
a
all
little bit
flat.
that. Not where the parking lot is, but
all
the other
flat.
one. That doesn't look all flat,
It's all flat.
up there.
Come
It
and
looks
see
like
me
a
sometime.
wall or something up there.
No, it's all flat. There's a nice propane tank. I'd like to put a fence around that.
But anyway, there's some land back there you could do,
Yeah,
could.
not too much maintenance. for
I
it.
wouldn't wanna do it to the left of the building, cause there's, a multifamily that has kids always in those yards. I don't want them ripping up the garden, so it would have to be on the right.
Well, we had talked about having one of our meetings at the senior center
Yes.
too, so that would be a nice, so that
What
we
a-
could look around a little too.
What about this? Can we do the meeting in it? I thought the same thing, we go to the library, the senior center, but I think the rules say it has to be
Maybe the new council
recorded.
member can,
I think Drew maybe.
we wanna do a field trip to the senior center, because a lot of people ask about what I do and what we do for seniors. And I could show you in the newsletter and talk about it, but people who haven't been to the senior center on a regular basis, cause they have day jobs and stuff, they,
Have
you
our
know,
meeting there.
we'd like to have a meeting there sometime, but it has to be recorded.
I know that came up at the council meeting about doing it at the Baldwins, and
Right,
I think
right.
Drew can set up something temporarily, you know, if you talk to him and say, you know, we wanna do it over there, and see if he can set up, like,
But we'd be walking around too, we'd have to be like like adolescents this weekend that I saw. We'd have to have the camera following you.
But you know, he is good
everywhere.
when we do the Londonderry View shows off-site, like he and Aaron are amazing, they just kind of figure it out,
Yeah.
as long as we give them enough warning. Cause even with our iPhones, we could be at a table and videotape, and then Drew could
Yeah.
put
So
that
like
up.
Make it a
do that.
Zoom
Easily,
video and just
sure,
have it on record
absolutely.
and they can see all
Yeah.
of
They've come, they've come
Yeah.
to different presentations there,
Yeah.
but it's just a camera, just a
Right,
still,
yeah.
when Kathy retired, I remember them,
Yes,
they were
right.
interviewing
Yeah,
people in the same
right.
area.
Yep, so there's
Yeah.
a way to do it,
Yep.
yeah, so
I
that would
think
be.
if you talk to Drew, you
yeah,
can probably
yeah.
set something up.
Cause then we could really think about and see some of these areas but it's nice, and then with our Jim Green and all that too. I think what we have to figure out, so we're in April, and then we have our expo in September, October. So we're about 4 or 5 meetings out from that, so where do we wanna go from here? Because, I mean, it's been in existence so long. When we initially started, it was transportation issues and trying to
Housing.
outreach programs, which we never quite got to. You know, the expo is amazing with it, but now where do we wanna head? Do we wanna like kinda maybe go every couple months so that with this year we accomplish some type of a garden to celebrate and the expo, and then maybe start fresh after the expo as to where we're gonna head? Ilona and I were talking today, the problems with transportation were huge years ago, and there were many issues, but that kind of subsided now nicely, and you've done so much work because you're, John, on the committee for that, now representing all of us.
And I
which
have
is
an
huge.
article in our next newsletter, which,
Which-
May, June, which I included transportation.
And we
I'm sorry.
also have
The
Old
next-
Home Day.
The next,
Oh, and
the
Old
next
Home Day
newsletter,
too,
I
right,
included
Elizabeth, right.
information about transportation.
Right, so that isn't the need it used to be, which was really why the committee formed, many, many years ago. This goes back to when Al Baldessaro was on it, and Doug Thomas, and, I know Elizabeth, I know I'm 14, you've gotta be like many years, but I don't think we have the transportation issue that we had back then. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Do we want to kind of like maybe meet in a couple months and just get ready for the expo now? Or do you wanna continue with the monthly meetings?
I don't think we need a monthly meeting.
I don't either, Elizabeth, not Brayton, and I love, thanks to you, you have all the people that we need to contact.
Yeah, we have a list of 180
Yeah.
people, at least, it's probably grown since then, for the expo.
Yeah, I mean, so you have all this, and we're kind of your backup group as far as, you reach out to everyone. You and Jim was amazing with all of that. Elizabeth shows up, and have to make sure you wear your red jacket, and you're our greeter, and welcome.
And my big shirt.
And your big shirt, our senior resource shirt that Patrick got for us a couple of years ago that was over.
I was hoping he'd be here tonight, cause I wanted to ask him where he got them. Now, do you know where?
They're still,
what his
I went over
source
with
is?
Tim to find the box of
Donated
shirts,
stand. They
and we
really
never
nice.
got them.
I don't want a shirt, I need to order some for another group that
Oh.
I'm involved
we
with,
can
and I
find out
thought
from
could
him,
find
sure.
his name.
Want me to send an email to him tomorrow or a text, and
Yeah.
so you wanna find out where to
Where
get the
he got it,
shirts,
yes.
okay.
We also have 3 alternate members that I haven't met yet. I don't know when
No, I
they
haven't seen
joined.
them
You
either.
one person was
James,
sworn in one
Lori,
of the
and
meetings.
Jeffrey.
There's 3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
And then Ann Fenn, I haven't,
She never comes at all.
I've come like every other meeting or every,
Ann has been to
But see, her-
one meeting.
Yeah, she,
so our membership is really light.
yeah.
And people like me, I'm a liaison. So how can we proceed without a chairman? We can't put forth a vote today, right? Because we don't have enough people.
And that was probably just the disconnect on, were we having this, then the time was put at 7 when we're always at 6. And we had recently changed to the first Tuesday of the month so that we could attend the historical. So I think there's a little confusion probably.
Watch people show up at 7:00.
Yeah.
Kirsten said it was because of a time change. The time change
Yeah.
didn't affect the website.
Oh, could
And
be.
then the whole website changed today too.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that, excuse me, one of the things that I think we should maybe do something with, and I'm not really interested in this and actually doing it. I mean, participating in the sport, put it that way. But pickleball, okay? I'd like to invite or go to the recreation committee and see if we can't talk them into at least putting the lines on one tennis court for pickleball. Yeah.
John, I agree with you 100%, because that's kind of
And
where
then-
we started with it years ago, just, but there are pluses and
I-
minuses.
So we can get some people playing, okay,
Yeah.
so you get, cause I think, I don't know why we don't have it, what all the reasons are, but to get a place for people to play and see if people show up to play.
Think you're
other
at the
thing
wrong
is,
meeting for
I
that
was
one.
wondering if we just went out and spent a couple $100, just to get one of these portable, pickleball kits where it's a portable net, they got all the equipment, and you put it up in your parking lot, you take it down.
There's a liability associated with that.
I know, it gets so.
Liability?
Yeah. Unfortunately, on the warrant article, the town, the voters decided to vote it down last year. So that's something like, but there's a great, very active recreation committee now, that if you brought that to them, John,
Yeah, well,
I think they might find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, I think, that's what I'm not suggesting we do it, but the rest, I think
Yeah,
that the
so there's a
point
need
is,
in
we
town.
need to get some way to show that there's a need for, I mean, it's really an embarrassment that we don't
I
have
agree
that.
with
I mean,
you.
every town around us
All of
has
our
it.
residents
It's-
have to go
it's on-
elsewhere.
It's on television, for God's
Yeah,
sakes, I
for all
can see
ages.
advertisements for,
Yeah.
Gonna
you
be
know,
in the
senior
Olympics.
It is,
communities
that's
where they
right, Elizabeth,
advertise
right.
pickleball as
So
part
is
of
the
the
NFL,
attraction.
but we don't have a Patriot Stadium here, honey. We can't do it all.
But anyway, it's something that's missing
Yeah,
from the
it
mix,
sadly
I think.
it is,
So
'cause-
maybe we should.
because you
try
can
to-
see a 70-year-old playing with their grandson
Yeah.
who's 12, I
It's-
mean, it's such
Yeah,
a,
and there's few
yeah,
sports
I mean,
like
and
that.
that committee, the pickleball committee, did such a great job, they sponsored the classes and the trainings, like we were going every Friday night, and they did a great job, but unfortunately, and there was a lot of money, there was grant money available that we lost, because I think the warrant wasn't explained well, but John, I think that's something you could bring to the council as a need, and then the recreation department, there has to be a way, but it's just that this isn't us here to figure it
Yeah,
out.
I think you have to somehow show interest, because it's failed twice, hasn't it? On the ballot, wasn't it?
Yeah, once, yeah.
Was the last one, I thought it was twice.
I thought it was twice too.
There was the last time, which was the $500,000
And that
warrant
was,
article
people
for the.
didn't quite understand it, I
No,
don't think, because we had the
and then-
grant for half of the money, and so sadly, we lost that portion, but I don't remember, I could be wrong though,
Yeah.
John,
We had
easily.
4 different,
Yeah.
events at the senior center when Mike Malaguti was still here to promote different warrant articles.
That's
One
right,
was the
yeah.
water, the whole water situation on High Range Road. The other one was, the school, Dan Black was there to talk about the school. I'm trying to remember what the third
Kindergarten.
one was. So, Mike was first, we had maybe 15 people attend. Dan Black was third, we had 0 people attend.
And he came.
The other one, I'm trying to remember what it was, we had maybe 20 people, it was not bad. Pickleball must have had 60, 70
Your
people.
parking lot was full.
Pickleball was
Yeah,
hot,
it
hot,
really
hot.
was,
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna disagree with you, I just don't think the seniors committee's
You
the
just don't
place to
think
do
what?
it. The senior center, the senior resource
Oh.
committee's the place to address it.
Recreation.
Yeah, recreation,
Recreation.
and that could be a citizen's petition, I think, too, couldn't it, if you had enough? But, incredible need, well, a want, but recreationally and fresh air, perhaps a need, but,
And I have more success with activities at the senior center than I do with, I'm gonna have a thing in a few weeks that, week after next, that I've 3 people signed up for. It's all about, long-term care and, selling your house and what are your next steps and what does your family do? And, people don't wanna come to those. They wanna come to the fun stuff.
You know, it just reminded me of something. There's an organization, you can Google it, it's called reframingaging.org. But basically, they try to, a lot of the presentations are really meant to give out to people that are working with seniors and so on, and how to talk about seniors in a way to others, basically when you're trying to get something for seniors, and how to explain things and define the way you speak to them. They're not a zombie class over here that they're like everybody else and so on. But anyway, if you take a look at the website and look at it, they have a lot of material on there. But I was thinking maybe there's maybe we could get somebody to come in and talk about that. I know I think it's the Alliance for Healthy Aging, I think does a presentation on that. But anyway, I didn't realize that there's a national organization that puts a lot of material out on how to put a presentation together and everything, which would, I think would be beneficial, frankly, because I think anytime you talk about, my experience on the transportation side, okay, my experience with that is that ageism is the problem, okay? People, even subconsciously, don't understand it. But if you can't get past that, you can't get anything done. And so,
Are you talking about educating the elderly people on how to get what they need, or how to speak to people who can provide what they need?
provide. I mean, I'm talking about, no reason why seniors wouldn't benefit from it, because they'll be there, yep, see that all the time, you know, they realize that there's this one-way mirror between them and society and all those things. But basically, to get the point across that, you know, they don't have a lot of needs, but they have some needs that other people don't have. But that always stands in the way, because they're looked at as part of the community, but not an independent group that have special needs, just like young children and so on.
Right.
So anyway,
And they're a third of our
Changing the
population.
culture a
What?
little bit. Changing the culture, John, like, so
Yeah.
to educate people
Yeah.
of all ages into
Right.
to who we are as we age, I
Yeah.
think you're saying too, which is really such an
it's
important thing,
It's
yeah.
real. It's a
Because there is a
really
stigma with aging, yeah,
difficult problem.
yeah,
Really difficult problem.
yeah. It's something we could focus down the road on that,
But it's-
yeah. But reframingaging.org, reframingaging.org, you said,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I got.
Reframing
Yeah, well,
One of the
look
things
it
that
up.
comes to mind is during the expo, we've had AARP, that the driving class,
That
or the
was-
computer.
Yeah.
Nobody came to it last year. The guy was there twiddling
By
his thumbs.
himself, you know,
The year before, he had like maybe 10 people. He teaches how to use the newer cars that have the computer,
Okay.
all the computer mechanisms. If we had a program like that, a speaker at the expo along those lines, I wonder if people would attend. I don't know.
I know.
If we had some sort of speaker.
And at one point, maybe it was 10 years ago, the Senior Resource Committee decided to do classes at the library. And we had a series of classes in the evening, 6 o'clock once a month, all different topics. And people came, not a lot though, like maybe 10, and there'd be 5 of us there from the committee. But it's what you're doing but it was interesting, you know, on topics like this. And one was on hoarding even, you know, and then another was on tax preparation or estate planning, and a lawyer came in and talked. But I don't think we're there yet with it, which brings us back to, where do we want to go from here? Do we want to take the month of May off and maybe have a June meeting and then jump into
Whatever.
September for the expo? I think we got to kind of come to a consensus
Well,
on that.
I think the
I think-
fact that seniors also need to advocate for themselves. How many times have people outside this committee attended this meeting? I remember once, and I've been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
People need to advocate for themselves. They can't just have it, they need to ask for it, they need to participate, they need to be part of the solution, not just the problem. And so they need to speak for themselves. I was laid off when I was 61. Boy, did I see ageism. I mean, I worked all my life, suddenly got, because of a cutback in the company I was working for, and I just kept on fighting and scrambling and I'm here now. People need to fight for themselves too.
You're right, but if you take a look at the big issues for seniors, okay? It's not just here, it's everywhere. It's transportation, it is housing, it's long-term care. You know, there's those issues, you can speak up for yourself, but those big issues require some kind of an organized effort to get it done. I mean, and we have all the problems in Londonderry they have across the country. You know, there are, well, I can't think of any, frankly, I can't think, except for us, I can't think of any organizations that are really all seniors, seem like that at the state level, you have, there's 2 or 3 agencies that are just for seniors, but there's very few seniors actually, advocating in those meetings and so on, so you're right, but all this stuff needs to be pushed, because it's not something that, flows
And we're
upward.
advisory, like we're an advisory board to the council. And maybe what we need to do is have Dan bring this back to the council, because we also have a couple members that I know are not planning to continue any longer on the committee, like we know Deb is going to move on to historical, a couple people we haven't seen, other people, so I'm not sure what we have left right now either, moving forward, but I'm not sure.
And things like housing are beyond our wheelhouse
Housing's too
in many
tough.
capacities.
Yeah.
I know that,
Housing's tough.
Kathy Blash helped put together the whole Sanford apartment complexes.
She knew the builder,
Yeah.
that, and the land had contaminants, so they were able to work with, and she worked with.
So
them
the
and
fact
staff.
that she took those extra steps,
Yeah.
that's
Huge,
pretty damn good,
huge.
that's amazing.
Yeah, huge.
I don't know that we have that wheelhouse, we have that experience, we need bring people in like that.
And we really need to see who the committee is at this point, Dan, because
Right.
again, like, this is a small showing, but I'm not sure who else is gonna show up at this point. 'Cause we have some new members that haven't been here, old members we know wanna move on, so I don't know what we have left.
Yeah.
So you have your expo that you're thinking about doing,
Yeah.
so you don't wanna spread yourself too thin,
Yeah,
if you're not
that's-
gonna have a lot of people.
That's what
there.
I'm thinking, like, if we
You know?
we can accomplish this
I,
for sure.
the expo, I could handle with volunteers from the senior
Yeah,
center. I have almost 300 hours of volunteers a month,
and with
and they would come
yeah.
to something like that, they
But
would
you have,
help.
you also have Old Home Day you mentioned,
Yes.
that the senior.
And that I've actually never participated in. That was
So-
senior, because I was on the trolley with the seniors from the senior center. So
And John has done it, I've done
I was
it.
at the
and
booth
done
last
it.
And
year.
Lois
Lois did it, yeah, I've never really
Sat in
sat.
the booth and we just gave out flyers and
Right.
promoted the senior
The
resource.
expo, it's really to promote that, so John and we usually put the tent up early and then,
And
and
then
you and, yeah.
whether the senior center will be in
You
the
talking about the old home
parade.
day?
Old home day, yeah.
Not this
yeah.
We
year.
can't get the
Both of
trolley.
those are close.
A month
Already tried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
August
Yeah,
and then
month apart.
September.
I called them 2
I
weeks
mean,
ago.
I really wonder with our group being so small right now and so many unknowns, it's wonderful that we do the old home day, but we're a smaller group now to man it or fill the spots.
People-
Be politically correct, but I don't know that we need to do that this year at the old home day. But that's a group decision, because I think now our name is becoming known for the expo, and I think if we just publicize it, then any of us wouldn't have to
I
give up,
agree.
because right now it could be this small group that's trying to figure it out and
Sure,
set
is
it
there a
up.
way to redefine the committee? Like
Anything-
reinvent it, senior resource
Well,
committee?
we did change the
and
name years
Try to get
ago.
more people to join?
Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah.
We changed the name to Senior Resource to liven it up a little,
I don't
and
know, when we were picking committees, they were like,
Right.
anybody for senior resource, and since I was the oldest one.
That's what you said, I'm the oldest one. I heard that, Dan, I heard
That
that.
was good, but these are all possibilities, but I think we kinda gotta get to what do we have left, I mean, I
We ought,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
sure.
the first step is to get the people that are on the
So,
list
yeah.
of members
Who
here.
really wants to be
And
here,
get the
who
fire
doesn't?
department, police department back into
Yeah.
action, they were,
yeah, very informative, very
yeah, they were
helpful.
here all the time.
Yeah,
Cause if you look at your list and you say there's 4 people that are not gonna wanna
Right.
participate, now you're gonna ask to put the notice out and
Yeah.
try to get 4 people
Right.
Yeah.
involved.
yeah, so if we
You know.
say this is April, May, if we establish a meeting for June, and the council, presents it to the town manager this needs to be figured out, who the real members are, who's continuing.
He's starting June 1st, and this will be
Yeah.
the first week in June, that's gonna be tight.
So April, May, June, first week in June would be tight?
Now, first, for the new town manager to.
Oh, we could do it before that.
Yeah, cause you'd have to do it, have council and Kim working together, I
Okay.
think, because you're right, the new town manager won't start until then, but we need to have it done before that. And then we have that meeting June 1st and see what we have, and it might be that it's it's the 6 of us again, and then the council's gonna have to reappoint and all, but at least we know we can accomplish the expo with what we have right now.
As far as
June
the old home
3rd.
day booth goes
June 3rd
too,
is-
First Tuesday,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Old Home Day
First Tuesday
booth,
is the third.
I'm
okay.
unable to get the trolley, I already called them,
Oh.
it's already booked.
Oh, for your seniors,
Yeah.
okay.
We've done the trolley
I've
with the
seen that,
seniors
yeah.
and all, yeah, so I can't get a trolley, and they had another smaller bus or something, they're using them for weddings. I thought maybe Deb was using them for the green team, cause she
Yeah.
wanted it one year, and I'll trade off, I don't care. But I won't be in the parade, cause we're not gonna walk the parade.
And one year we were in the parade for the senior resource and the expo. That was like, Jim loved that idea. We had the band.
It was hot, you guys, boy.
Yeah, Deb and I, it was a really
But I'd be
hot
willing
day.
to work, I'd be available for the booth,
Okay.
if that were, cause I'm not gonna do the parade.
And on June 3rd, we can talk about that, like if we have some new energy. I mean, John, you and I don't mind going down, to Senora, you in law and you, I mean, we could probably pull it off if we need to. Cause there were a lot of people that would come out.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
true.
Elizabeth,
Right.
right? What's your thought on that? Do you think we need to do that?
And it wasn't just seniors that came up,
No.
it was their
Young
daughters
families,
and
yes.
sons and
I
so
had some
on.
folks come up asking what they could do to volunteer to
Oh.
help seniors and whatnot.
All right.
At least 2 folks came up.
All right, so let's
Um,
put that back on the table and let's
We
keep
can
the
even
old home day.
promote the committee at Old Home Day.
Yeah, if you're
Well,
interested in
You
signing
know,
up to be on the
sign
That's-
this
committee.
form.
It kind of takes care of itself as long as we have somebody who can put up the tent.
Yeah,
Um,
us, the morning people will take the lunch route. And,
I have the table, Jim,
Yeah.
Linda brought me a box of Jim's stuff.
okay, and
I have a
do the
tablecloth,
banner
things
too,
like
the
that, yeah,
banner and
banners,
all.
yeah.
All right, so let's keep Old Home Day.
That's the first week of August,
It's
is it?
actually
Middle, it's in the
around the
middle.
19th.
Right in the middle.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
around,
about it.
yeah, always that third week, but,
Right before the kids go
On
back
a
to
Tuesday?
school.
no, it's on the weekend, so Friday night.
Well, Old
is
Home Day
Friday,
starts on
yeah,
Wednesday with
yeah.
the senior picnic.
Oh,
And the
Um,
big band music.
Also, senior picnic, just to
Oh,
plant
yeah,
this
right,
in your
too.
ear.
So we're gonna do Old Home Day, that we're gonna keep then, okay?
when is Old Home Day though?
It's,
The booth would be
well,
the 23rd?
Let's see.
13th?
Starts on the
What's
19th.
the middle of
19th.
August?
It's probably gonna fall on the 23rd, I only know, but.
It's usually a Saturday.
It's because it's my birthday, it's the
Old Home
22nd,
Days-
it's always right then, so
Alright.
it's probably
5
gonna be
day-
the
4
22nd,
days.
23rd, yeah. Starts on the
Start out
Wednesday,
Wednesday with
and,
that.
and it
It's
ends
the
on a
13th through the
Saturday night.
16th
With the boot scoot and
The
boogie.
13th through the 16th?
of August, yeah.
Oh, that's
You
the week
sure,
before.
for sure?
Pretty,
Is it-
It's early this year?
Oh, usually it's I could be completely wrong, usually it's the third week, but,
Cheers then.
no, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
well, you know what? August starts on Friday the 1st, so 1, 2, 3, technically that's the
Maybe
third
it
week.
is.
So I'm just gonna put it in my phone
You
because
know
I
what,
don't
is it
wanna
on our
schedule
town
anything.
calendar already? Let me just check our
That's a good-
website.
Our new website.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, though, let's plan to do our booth again then, either way, so we'll continue
For the
with
senior
that.
picnic, just to get your, I don't wanna do the bingo game from 4 to 5, 5 to 6 o'clock before we eat. I'd like to have entertainment, I'd like to have some music play. I'm working with the Interfaith Choir, and I also have an email out to Serge from the high school to see if some of the kids can come and play. I don't need the whole band, that's too much.
You're gonna have music though after the
The
picnic.
Beatles, it's totally different. I just wanna do something different. The bingo is,
Well, they always had the Wyndham Swing Band.
That's right. Last year
That's
they had
a-
the
someone here,
Beatles,
was
it's
the
already
Beatles?
scheduled. It was the
Oh.
Beatles
Used
last
to
year.
always be
The new
yeah.
schedule's out, it's the Beatles again.
It is for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right, it's August 4th, so it's because it's early. So it's August 14th through Saturday, August 17th.
The 13th, which is the Wednesday.
The 14th, the Wednesday is the 14th this year.
The 13th.
Alona?
It's the
Oh,
13th.
It's the 13th.
well, it's.
What year are you
You're in the
on?
wrong year.
No, it says February 14th, 2025.
February.
February.
No, but this was their first committee meeting apparently. And then the 125th annual town, oh no, dang it, it's the 24th. But it's under the 25th, February 25th meeting.
I'm starting to have
confused.
meetings already.
Yeah, me too.
Is
See,
this the
look, see, this is
Gregorian
what I'm looking
calendar?
at.
It's August.
Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
guys.
there's-
So it's
Middle of August.
Yeah, middle of Old Home Day Committee, agendas and minutes members.
And you're gonna change about the serving.
Yeah, it's gonna be help
Sponsorship,
yourself,
Yeah,
unless you need help.
It's
and
all
then
right, we have
it's
time.
It's gonna be,
I'll send her a quick
you go up
text.
to a line and get your stuff.
Unless somebody needs help, then we'll have
Okay.
somebody serve them, but I don't want the police and the fire department either.
No,
It's too hard to manage them.
the
It's too social.
last year
I
the
need it more-
police was
Need it more
at my
organized.
table. It was ridiculous. A kid would, one of the young policemen, He'd take one order and then he'd be gone for a long time and he'd bring back one order.
Everybody has their own comfort level, and I assigned tables to everybody, and then they did other tables, so I'd rather, yeah, I'm working it out.
Ilona, when is the senior picnic?
I don't know now.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the 13th of
No,
August.
No, we're gonna find out. And I'll leave this room with over, I'm thinking around the 19th, but let's see.
I'm afraid to
Could be
commit.
early, that was early last year then, if that was the dates last year, let's see, she's respond, I think she'll
Okay.
respond. So,
I think she's still in the building. Are you going to Cheerston?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so we'll, but they must have had a meeting in February, it sounds like, from the, but. So we should keep the old home day booth on the table, then we'll plan to do that, that
And
will all.
count me as a worker.
Okay,
As a
good.
worker
That'll
bee.
help promote the expo as
It
well,
will,
because we'll
good.
have flyers for the expo.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, cause we have it all done, just put the new.
I might
dates.
I might create the expo letter and send it to everybody ahead of time.
I said my birthday usually, well, this year it's on John's birthday, it starts. The Wednesday, August 13th is the senior picnic, and it ends on Saturday, the 16th.
Your birthdays are that close together?
Told you.
Yeah, he's the 13th, I'm the 22nd, same year too, Dan.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so, yeah, so, that is still early, it used to always be, but does that fall as the third week? of
August
September?
13th is the third week, yes.
Wow, all right, so, cause that's generally what they do. Good, okay. So we got that answer, so that's on, and then, so, it's 6:47. Do we wanna schedule the next meeting for June 3rd? Or June 3rd to talk?
What do you think? Now that you've seen how we operate under small circumstances.
I think what you
It's
need
tough.
to do first is find out who you have on the committee,
Right.
Okay.
you know, before you start scheduling
I've-
anything. That's what I would suggest.
Well, I wrote to
I think
everyone
we should-
today,
You did, I
If
did.
we-
everyone,
many
including the new people. I did it through their funky email
Yeah.
through the town
Yeah.
and saying what
We're
was
all four
happening
members,
tonight.
right? 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, we're missing
And I wanna see if
Lois.
anybody, nobody's
I think
responded
the
as
quorum
of
is
3
based
o'clock
on the
today.
number of people that are here, is it need a percentage?
Well, it's a percentage of
Contact our
members or peers that
alternates
are more than
too.
50%.
That's who I contacted, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
how many members?
Because they're
are
not, I don't have an
supposed to be
email
on
for
the-
these
Not
three people.
alternates, just,
Right.
But if you
members.
click on this on the
Yeah, I don't know why
website,
I'm thinking 8. I
it
could
goes
be
to
wrong.
an email and you can write them an
do you
email.
think that many?
Yeah, are we supposed, does it say in there how many members we're supposed to have? Thinking.
I just
Yeah, I
stole it,
thought
I
it
just
was
stole
8
this
plus.
off of the
Oh, yeah,
website.
8 plus 3.
8 plus 3
Yeah.
alternates.
I think
So
so,
we have
but
to
I
have
don't
5
know
for
for sure.
quorum?
In order
Yeah.
to have quorum,
Yeah.
you'd have to have 5,
Yeah.
right?
Actually,
So we need
Over
11
50%.
Dan and
total?
the 5 of us, we have it tonight actually.
But I'm not a voting
No,
member.
and
No, but you're
Ilona's
our
the
liaison.
liaison.
Oh darn,
I
like,
don't vote.
sorry, Ilona,
I don't
right,
count.
yeah.
I just watch.
I think it's important to square away what we have for a committee.
Okay,
Not just a name that's gonna show up. So I think we should have a meeting next month, and we need to somehow communicate to these people that, you know, you volunteered or whatever, and you're signed up, and, you know, if you wanna back out or
this is your
whatever.
opportunity.
But if we wait, if we let it go another month, and then it just makes it harder, I think.
So you wanna know ahead and then we could always skip
Yeah.
a month, you're saying?
Yeah, and just between now and next month,
Like Dan
we
said,
kinda
get it
send some,
solidified and then, yeah, could do that.
I mean, maybe you could have, you know, Kirsten do that, reach out to them and say, you know, we're trying
Find out
to
for sure.
find out.
Well, we're trying, yeah, we're trying to reestablish senior resource committee based on the loss of Jim.
Yeah,
We
Right.
need to know if we can move forward with enough members.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty black and white, I
So
guess.
Dan, can you direct maybe from the council, like it's to have Kim or Kirsten find out who we really have on our committee now? Cause none of us really have
I'll
that.
handle it tomorrow.
We don't really have that, to do that.
are the new,
so.
are the new people on the town,
We've
probably
sworn
not
them
on
all
the
in.
town email yet, are they?
They are. Well, I couldn't find them when I was writing the email. I put in for James Barnes. I put in JB, and he never came up. But when I clicked on his name, I was able to email him through my email. So I wrote to these 3 people today,
Didn't hear back from any?
but by 3 o'clock I haven't heard. I left at 3 today. So
I'll reach out to the acting town manager
Good, yeah.
and see if he can have somebody reach out to everybody and where do you stand, are you interested? Are you unattending?
Right.
to stay on the committee, then we'll know how many people you have,
Yeah.
and then put it out there.
Yeah, we have
That would
8
probably
total
be
now, allegedly. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, you can't, Sherry, you still count, never mind.
I still count.
9.
It's hard with me with the town email, so I have Outlook, right, and I have Gmail. But with my Outlook, I have to like click my name, and then it's like a sub, so I don't get notifications if I have an email from the town. I actually have to remember to go in and hit that sub and see if I got any
I
emails.
wish I could do that.
Oh, is that what it
Um,
is?
with mine, I'm wondering if they're having the same issue. I don't know, I had Kirsten help me set it up when I first got it a year ago.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think I wrote to everybody's, I think I wrote to some
You know, the
personal
other
emails.
issue we
The
ought to
Jim
think
was
about is
actually
whether or not
emailing
some of these people are
our
having
personal
problems.
emails as well
Me-
as.
yeah, I
Having
was
problems with
too.
the fact that
The
we meet at
group.
6 o'clock, if people are still, I don't know,
But so what
all
am I
these
trying
people
to
are
say?
retired.
Did you get my email
They're
today?
working, making a
Um,
6 o'clock meeting if you're
Yes,
out
that's
of
how
work
I
at
found
5
out
is
Jim
tough.
has today, thank you
Right.
very much. I had no idea, I feel horrible.
But you know, it's, and
I-
we've
I
always
read
done
the
it.
email and I was like,
I've had other calls
Oh
about it.
my gosh. But I knew, so here's the thing, I didn't get the agenda from Jim, I usually get it. He sends it to the town email, but also CCs my personal email, so I get that as a notification. I'm like, I didn't get the agenda. So I clicked on and then I read yours and I was like, oh my gosh.
So,
So, anyway, that's how I get the emails from the town, I have to work at it.
Does everybody
And I'm
know we have
wondering
new
if those
email
new
systems?
members don't realize they have emails.
Well, .gov, everyone would be switched over to, is that what you mean, John? Because
Or, I
really
mean,
they
it's
want
not
all
new
the
email
same.
systems, I'm sorry, the new town website is,
Yeah, that was, just.
It just launched today.
yeah, I know, I noticed.
so here's a thought.
It'll take a little getting used to, you'll get there.
Dan, yeah, what
Yeah,
do you think?
I have a thought for you. If you look at how many of your members
Oh, no, I didn't know if it was.
are seniors,
Yes.
all right, maybe it might be more interesting for people to join if they were seniors, if the meeting was not at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, maybe it was during the day. Because
You
some
could come
people
over,
don't,
I
some,
could come over.
some people don't like to come out at night.
I don't know
That's the
these 3
biggest
new
problem
people.
Yeah,
that
I
we
mean,
had.
I know a lot of
That's why we
elderly
always had
people
it
that are
once
in
it
bed
gets
by
dark.
8 o'clock.
In the
Lights
winter.
out, gone.
Yeah.
I don't come to town council for 7, I'm done by then.
Well, if you
Would
kept
it
it
work
on,
for
if
you,
you kept it on
Valerie?
a Tuesday,
You-
I work
you-
remote on Tuesdays,
So you could come
so
over.
I could take my lunch to come to a meeting.
Like you did
There you
today.
go.
Like I did today to
All
get
right, to
sworn in, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
If
That
it
is a good
Tuesday, I could
thought.
stay.
I mean, I don't know, I don't know if you'd get more interest
Would
from
that-
What
people.
time would it be?
What time would you think? Like,
3 or 4,
or 2?
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't wanna do 4, cause
too close to
Getting
dinner
close.
time.
Dinner
And
time.
dark in the winter too.
it's dinner
I
time.
think 2's a nice
2?
time.
After
You think
lunch,
so?
between,
Yeah.
before dinner, maybe 2
Two?
or 3.
It's a
Yeah.
good thought.
You know,
Oh, what,
2 o'clock in
Oh,
the
the winter
afternoon.
months it
What
gets
day?
dark at 4,
I
you
think
Yeah,
people
but
would have to
day?
stick to
The winter
Tuesday
months it
for
gets dark
Valerie.
at 4, is that what you
So
said?
Tuesday at 2? I think that's. an
Can we get this
interesting thought.
room?
Oh, absolutely. If not, we can get another one. We could
Yeah.
always.
Or you can come to the
chamber.
senior center.
Or we could come to
There
the
you go.
senior center. I like that idea.
but I don't know if
Elizabeth,
that would
what do you
attract
think?
more people to wanna join the group who are seniors.
And so many people work remote now too, or have some remote, right?
Yeah, and some people
Well,
just.
we need to find out who these 3 people are.
2?
These James, Lori, and Jeffrey. Are they seniors, or what are
Lori,
they?
I think might have been younger. But still, I think depending on their jobs, that like, it might be a nice option, so then you don't have to come back out at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know I'd love it, cause then, you know, I mean, at 5:30, I could just scoot. and
Yeah,
sit
I kill
Part of your
time.
workday.
Yeah.
You should see how clean my house is
Yeah.
today, because I didn't wanna sit down and do nothing,
'Cause you get-
because I would never show up.
Yeah.
I had to keep motivated in I almost went to the mall, but I didn't wanna spend money.
I really like that, and something different for the committee too.
I mean,
Shake
I'm,
it up a little.
yeah, I mean, I'm flexible, I mean,
Yeah. Should we try that for the, so next steps would be Dan's gonna reach out to Kim and we'll figure out who we have. And then, so do we wanna schedule a meeting, like an email goes out to these people saying, if the ones that said they are gonna come back? Do we wanna go back to a May meeting or a June meeting?
Do you wanna try the May one at 2:00 in the
I
afternoon?
like
In
that.
May, so
Do
we
we
can
have
elect,
authority to
we can
do
elect a
that?
new chairman.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Without quorum?
Yeah, you need a new chairman.
But maybe we'll have someone. in the
Chairperson.
group. Yeah, person, yes. Um,
Politically correct.
I know I got tongue tied on that one. What is it?
I'm gonna keep you around.
I think that, given our circumstances that we lost our chair, I think we could say that we wanna do that at 2, and as long as it's okay with Dan, like he can kinda give us the blessing in a
As long-
sense, that we
if-
Why
can do
would I
that.
Like,
have to give you a
Once we
blessing?
have all the
They're worried
people
about
here that are
quorum.
gonna be here,
Yeah.
Oh.
then they can, right? If we
What's
get the people here to show up, then we can decide if 2 works better for them or not.
You know what, and it
But-
doesn't, right,
But we have to have.
and it
them
doesn't
here.
have to be an official meeting either, it's more
Yeah.
of a meet, like kinda get
Yeah.
together, what are we thinking? Does Tuesday, 2 work for people or not? Okay,
Yeah, I can work with 2 as long as we're gonna have it every first Tuesday or whatever, I can plan if it.
and I bet you even for our police officers and fire department, it might make their lives easier, and Erin at the library, because, she's either sending a liaison or, I think
Matt's
that might be a
going, too.
really
She
You
good.
was
could always do a
Services
luncheon
and
meeting
that.
too.
Yeah.
What?
But
You
keep,
do a luncheon
keep the
meeting.
meetings under,
Okay.
we have to keep the meetings under an hour.
Yeah,
though.
we'd
It's at 2 in the
absolutely, yeah.
afternoon,
We-
because
we
we're pulling
always-
people away from
Yeah.
other things, right?
Yeah.
And that was what we always tried to do, was it was 6 to 7, right? Like, that was
Yes.
always, what we did our best. Sometimes they'd go to 8 or something, but I like that.
I think your first bet, the first thing is let's
Let's
see
see who's
what you
on.
have for people before you,
All right,
Decide
before we
on
even
it.
establish a time,
yeah, before you
okay?
establish a time or,
All right.
Is that, Kirsten can handle that, you think, or?
Well, Kim
She's
may
got a lot
direct
of
it to
plates
her,
on her
Kim
plate.
might direct it to her, but he'll designate someone to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I don't
So
think it's a
you'll
big
send
task.
us an email and let us know if we're meeting in May or June? Or
Well,
at
we'll
2,
make
or
that
at
as
6?
part of, like, once we get the number, whoever's
she
doing
could
it,
email
yeah.
everybody,
sure.
whoever
That
has it.
I'm
email.
happy to communicate with all these people, but I can't communicate with these extra people, cause I don't know where the heck they are, or what their
We don't
email
have
is.
emails and.
Yeah,
Well, when I signed up, I had to fill out that whole thing, I had to go to a town meeting and they had to say,
Interview
yeah.
you.
Well,
That
that's
was
why
just
I'm
you.
thinking,
What, that was
because
just
of your
me?
background.
No,
You
no.
must have their email addresses.
It
if
would-
they're
I'm
in
the
there.
sure.
town, the town would have it.
Yeah.
The town would have
Exactly.
exactly how to
Yeah.
contact
Like, it was a
people.
big thing, I was a nervous wreck, I had to go to a town meeting
Really?
and speak in front of
Oh, yeah,
everybody.
they had to do an
I
interview.
do it all the
Hi,
time.
I'm me, yeah. I'm not as shy anymore.
If we're gonna,
You can tell.
if somebody's
Yeah.
gonna notify these people that are not
Yeah.
showing up, that memo, however it's going to be
Or
done,
no.
ought to say, and the next meeting is,
Yeah, I do.
it's on Tuesday, May,
Yeah.
whatever it is, that, we're gonna meet every Tuesday.
So you think we should put the
Oh, yeah,
next
absolutely,
meeting in?
just, you can't tell them,
Well, yeah,
you want them to show up and then say, by the way, we're not gonna meet for 2 months.
so if they
and
say they
they'll-
are gonna
they'll
attend, they
forget.
know the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanna since you've already got the ball rolling, I'm thinking Kirsten will have those
I just need
emails.
to, yeah.
Do you want me to just get those, you could send Kirsten an email and she'd
Yeah,
send
just
those
reach
right
out
to
to
you.
her.
Cause then it might, cause you already have it and you're, if you don't mind, not to throw something else at you, but instead of having a third party and then Dan's gotta talk to Kim that's gotta,
During your spare time, just,
Can you send me an email with all the emails of the members and alternates of the Senior Resource Committee in your spare time? Got it.
and I can follow up with it, because these are the 3 main ones that you would need.
and then if you have vacancies,
She'll be happy that I could do it without her, you
yeah,
know.
we'll try to
No,
fill them.
Yeah.
we don't need to push more on her.
Right, that's a good thing, cause you got us here tonight, so we appreciate it, that's good.
Sounds like a
Me
plan
too.
to me.
Okay, what do we do?
All right,
1 minute up, too. But what date, did you wanna put a date now, or you don't wanna put a date on the email?
well, the next date would be
June, oh,
May 6th, would be 1 month from today. It's the first Tuesday of May.
Well, you could always wait to see what you get for responses and then make a decision.
it's already in my phone, they
Cause
said.
it's just another email, really, once they
Right.
say nay or yay. Cause if we get too many nays, then we've gotta.
Missed you at the
be-
latest Senior Resource Committee meeting. Are you gonna show up next time? Question mark.
Well,
Let's turn